Resign. Hands off. My vote is mine. DeJoy. Privatizers got to go. Hey, hey. Union busters got to go.
I'm Cynthia Datangel. I'm the American Postal Workers Union's SF local president.
So what is this rally here about?
Well, we're out here to, get support from the community and get the word out there and be visible and let people know that we are fighting against all these changes that have been made to the Postal Service, and also for them to contact their senators to approve and get the funding that we need for the Postal Service survival.
Jackie Spear was on TV yesterday saying that the machine was shut down in San Francisco and that machine is going to slow down the mill. Is that true?
Actually, there's been several machines that's been dismantled in San Francisco, and there's still others that are just sitting there, not functioning at this point. So I'm unsure as to whether they plan to bring them back, but as far as we know, they don't.
Why would they dismantle the machines?
Originally their excuse for that was that we had a decrease in the number of volume of mail that we're getting into San Francisco, which is true because of the virus. But I don't see the need to dismantle these machines, because once the virus has been addressed, once we have a vaccine, those machines still need to be there.
And you think that they want to affect the election?
Well, I'm hoping that once they straighten out and reverse all these changes, hopefully permanently, that, we've always gotten the mail out. So there shouldn't be a reason why we can't.
Where are the other postal worker unions? I mean, APWU is here. Did you reach out to the other unions to see?
I did send them an email. I do have the mail handlers president here. I don't know. I did email them to notify them that we're going to be here. So I didn't get a response.
My name is Jose Riquelme. I work for the Postal Service 35 years. Right now I'm in the, working in the airport in San Francisco and a chapter for the American Postal Workers Union too.
And this is a national day of protest. Why is the APWU called this National Day of Protest?
Well, we need to call the attention to the public that it's very important that they call the Senate, the senators, in order that they can approve the stimulus for $25 billion. The Postal Service is in very bad financial situation because of the pandemic, so we need this relief. And also to say that we are not allowed any changes that deprive, the Postal Service with the service, with the prices, and with the delivery on time.
And is there a plan to privatize the post office?
Well, I think that's the intention. The intention, first of all, is to the image of the institution looking bad. They're trying to make it, very hard, the financial situation, so they can start from there. They can say, the Postal Service doesn't work as a public. We need to privatize it. And sometimes, with the image of the institution, can be easy to convince the citizens of this country.
And these hearings with DeJoy, did you watch them? What do you think of those hearings and what came out of them?
Well, there was one representative that I don't remember his name, but he was very aggressive in his question. I think that DeJoy didn't have no clue that how the resistance from congressmen, resistance from the union, postal unions, resistance for the public. So I guess that he had no option to stop all these changes that he tried to implement under this pandemic and 2 months before an election. That's a very crazy action. So he got stopped, and now let's see what happens after the election. But he knows already that the unions, the people, the customers, and different organizations are going to be supporting to keep the public postal service.
No, my mom got it from a little while ago.
Is your mom a postal worker?
Yep, she's the president of the San Francisco local.
You're supporting
My name is Ashley Purcell. We're here to raise awareness and let everybody know that what we have going on right now is crucial. They're trying to eliminate a lot of the crucial functions that we have going on with the Postal Service, a lot of the key elements that the community depends on us for, as far as delivering medicine, mail, important checks, important documents. All of that is compromised right now, and we got to stand up and let our voices be heard right now so that people understand exactly how crucial it is.
Who's behind this?
In my opinion, it's definitely coming from, it's a political standpoint. I know that we have a new Postmaster General who's getting rid of a lot of the machines that we need to do a lot of the work that we do. I know that they're trying to compromise the election, so I don't want to go out there and throw names out there, but I'm going to say I think Donald Trump is behind it.
How are you being affected?
Well, at work, my hours have been affected. We're not able to give the type of service that to the customers that they deserve and that they depend on us for. At work, a lot of people have been a little bit aggravated lately just because we're in a time where we don't necessarily know what's going on with everything with the virus and everything with our jobs. But for the most part, I think that we stay positive and we put one foot forward.
My name's Joyce. I just take off 1 hour early, try to support the union. That means to support myself.
Why is this important, this issue of the post office?
I could say it support my whole family because, like, as a postal worker, like I work at post office for 25 years. So it's been how many years? Like countrywide, it's like 14,000 clerks estimate. So I do my best to support the union, support, the employee. That means support myself.
Are you worried about the elections?
Yes.
You think they may try to slow down the mail?
Because I work on a facility, I know how bad is that. I never seen so bad. Priority mail left behind. Even though the mail at the station, they try to delay. They don't send mail to the station, so the carrier have to wrap it up and leave right away. But I don't see the overtime it be cut. So I received a letter from New York. It took 8 days. Come to me. I never seen that, before.
And what did you think about the hearing in Washington with DeJoy?
What's that?
The hearings in Washington with DeJoy?
I didn't look at it. I just saw something. They say the General Postmaster not even know how much to mail a postcard.
Nick, my mailbox. It was taken away without any notice or justification or anything. Just gone. It's right next to a senior disability housing building, which is the worst possible place to remove a mailbox from, because people who live there have no other way to mail things. If they're not mobile, and many of them don't have mobility. So I've been working with the union, with Senator Harris' office, anybody who'll get that box back. And I'm going to start circulating a petition. I think they'll be open to it in the building, people who live in that building. And we're going to send it. I've already sent a letter to Douglas Smith telling him to put it back. He's the acting postmaster of San Francisco.
I'm a customer.
Okay. And why are you here today? What's your name?
My name is Nick, and I'm here because it's absolutely outrageous what I hear is going on. It sounds like for the last 50 years, the Coke and, Trumpist type people have been trying to privatize the post office, and now it's just the worst time. It's trying to buy the election by destroying the post office. It's disgusting.
What do you think people should do about it?
Well, we should have bigger gatherings. We should hit the streets. We should also lobby our Congress people. But frankly, with the way it's stacked in the Senate, nothing gets through the Senate. It's really hard to know.
Tony Maids of the Mail Handlers Union.
Why are you out here today?
To support the post office.
How are you being affected?
Well, if the post office no longer exists, I don't have a job. I've been there for 35 years. That's the only thing I ever did. So if they tear down the post office, there are going to be a lot of people out of work, and it's going to hurt the economy even more. Every American rely on the post office to deliver their medicine, their mail. We deliver to every address in America. You don't get that from any other company in the world. So we deliver everywhere for an affordable price, and we need the post office.
And why do you think they're trying to get rid of it?
Everybody have their agenda. I leave that up to the politicians. My job is to let them know I'm a voting American and I support the post office, and I want them to vote to keep this institution around.
I'm Richard Stone. I'm a proud 27-year-old log employee, custodian at union, member of the American Postal Workers Union, United States Postal Service.
And what do you think about the destruction of machines and cutback and that kind of thing? How has it affected you?
Well, as you heard, on the national level, it has impacted quite a few regions, and there's even been as for example in Colorado, they've actually literally found one of the processing machines in a dumpster, because all these allegations have been floated around, and which we all believe to be true, and that's the first physical evidence that of that. This is a crisis that has been manufactured. Back in 2006, unfortunately, a lot of people don't realize. In light of the Democrats, mostly Democrats in their heroic efforts to save it, won't really, mention that they were, integral and actually created this manufacturing crisis.
How were they integral?
Well, there was a Postal Reform Act that was, that was passed, that created a tertiary pension system for employees that frankly. Hadn't even started working for the post office yet. So what that does, that takes a lot of money at the beginning of the fiscal year out of the post office budget, and up to this, the original intent was to take, it was like $75 billion, and up to this point they've taken out about 50. So
how are the Democrats involved?
The Democrats were involved because they were, because it was a bipartisan bill. So I mean, it was mostly Republicans, but the thing is, you needed bipartisan support, and the thing is, unfortunately, even though the Senate, the U.S. Senate Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee was actually run by the Democrats at that time, they. The bill actually still made it through, but it was basically a rider bill anyway. So that bill wasn't open for debate. The bill was actually passed at a time when Republican control was going out of Congress and Nancy Pelosi was taking over. So
did they have stopped it?
So it was they just sort of snuck it in there without any debate. So
Are you worried about a free election?
Oh well, yeah. I'm definitely worried about it, because it seems like at every turn where they where people, whether inside and outside the postal community, actually tried to think of ways out of the box to make sure that the votes get through, such as putting up your post box, you put your drop boxes. It's something that's just difficult in coming, and even here, and you want to talk about elections? Well, London Breed yesterday or actually the Department of Public Health here in San Francisco said that all election offices, actually had to close down. And credit John Avalos for actually breaking that. I actually worked out of his office, and it's a wide open space. And the thing is, he was practicing all the forms of social distancing, which I'm sure all the other candidates. I won't speak on behalf of them, but other than John, knowing that his office was safe, for operations. So. Yes, we're worried about elections, and I thought it was important for me to say that, because Now they're not even allowed election offices to even operate on a very minimal basis. So
My name is Aster Haba. I'm out here because I don't want fascism to take over this country, for one. And all the attacks on the post office are indicative of rising fascism that's been going for years and years, and the immigrant communities have seen it, and the black community has seen it. But the rest of us are just like, people are just waking up now, and it's really great to see more people caring. Yeah.
Do you think Trump wants to become a dictator?
Yes, absolutely. A lot of dictator characteristics. I think he's LARPing as one already. Yeah.
What do you think people should do about it?
I think people should get in the streets and demand him out. People should vote. However, voting will not get rid of fascism, nor will it get us what we want. So yes, it is harm reduction, but we need to organize on the ground.
My name's Paul Morrow. I'm a nurse at Kaiser, and I'm out here because what the Republican Party's trying to destroy the U.S. Postal Service. Many of our seniors and our veterans depend on their medications to be delivered through the Postal Service, and without the Postal Service, they would be lost. They wouldn't be able to get their medications. So I'm here to protest what the Republican Party's trying to do to our beloved Postal Service.
Are you worried about a fair election?
I am worried because Trump's trying to make it unfair, and then he's going to complain that it was unfair. But hopefully, ballots will get to people, and they'll be able to get them in time. I'm worried that he's trying to destroy the Postal Service to make it an unfair election.
My name is Scott.
Why are you out here today?
I'm out here today because we need to defend a valuable American institution against all the ills of Republican excess, defunding, trying to dismantle it to get reelected in an entirely corrupt and illegitimate manner by the current Republican president.
And why are they doing that? Is it about the elections?
Do I think it's because of the elections? I'm sorry. Yes, I think the timing is extremely suspicious. We certainly know that Trump has openly stated that his intention is to try to defund the post office to try to make it more difficult to vote by mail, because he knows that bigger voter turnout is going to work against him and for his Democratic opponent.
I'm a nurse supporting the Postal. I'm Melissa Graham. I work for Kaiser, CNA Nurses Union, and we just want to support the postal workers and get them some funding so they could continue, so that people could get their prescriptions by mail. I think 80% of veterans rely on the mail to get their prescriptions. I think 40% of Americans, and fight for our democracy and make sure that people can vote, get their vote counted in the mail for this next coming election.
Are you worried that they're trying to rig the election?
I'm worried that Donald Trump will, if he loses, will say that the election is rigged.
If he doesn't leave, what do you think should be done?
We got to get him out.
General strike?
Absolutely.
Yes, I'm Alice Lindstrom. I'm a retired postal worker and shop steward, and currently still a representative of the San Francisco Labor Council from the San Francisco local.
And what does this issue today mean for you and other workers, postal workers, and the public?
Well, this is a sign, which is an antique. I made this 50 years ago for the 1970 Wildcat postal strike. And the same issues are still here today. Better service. There's not enough. Even though there's less people coming to the post office because of coronavirus, there's still not enough people to serve them, because 4,000 postal workers are in quarantine and 83 postal workers have died from coronavirus. So the service still needs to be improved, and this current postmaster is making it go the other way by shutting down machines, taking away boxes, having trucks that have to leave on time even if the mail isn't quite into them. And so we definitely need better service. Legal contracts, that means something different now than it did 50 years ago. At that time, our contracts were strictly by executive order, and they could be reversed on whoever changed presidents. But now we have legal contracts, and they're under threat from the other way, because President Trump and Meadows, or Mnuchin, or both of them, want to be able to review and approve the union's contracts before the post office can access that $10 billion that the Congress appropriated.
What do you think about privatization? You think they want to shut down or privatize the post office?
Let me finish. Okay, livable wages, they are livable right now, but the object is to not do it. And then, of course, dignity is always a thing. About livable wages, there's always, starting with Reagan, they would bring troops of people through the post office, business people who would stand around insultingly and watch us and have open discussions about whether what we did was worth the wages we were paid. It was very insulting. And they want to privatize the post office by pieces. They want to privatize the more profitable parts, and then leave the rural and the inner city parts to be done as a public service. So if the pattern holds true, which is how it happened in other countries where this happened, then the service gets reduced, like 3-day-a-week delivery and things like that in those areas, and then there's profit skimming in the richer areas. And this has been a plan ever since Reagan, but it has accelerated on steroids. It's so much bigger now once Trump and his cronies got in.
Are you worried about a free election, democratic election?
I wasn't, and the most recent discussion that was had, President Dimenstein, our APWU president, feels that we could handle the ballots like we always have. It's a little bit of overtime, and everybody works hard, and it happens. We've never had a problem in California before. But if they just dismantle a lot of machines, they could handicap it. Yeah, although it would eventually would be a result after you sort all this stuff by hand. So I don't think there's a comic strip out said with a postal truck. It says on it, surprised to learn that we're the last bastion of the last guardrail against fascism. So are we. And I really think I still think that we could handle an election. It might take a long time to get the results, but I think we could handle it.
What were the lessons of the 1970 strike?
It's very different. It's very different than it is today. These things are true with a different angle on them. But the difference in the 1970 strike was all that we could do was strike and stop working, which most of us didn't believe in doing. But we were forced by the safety, and that was the only way we could do it. Now, the postal workers are expressing their rebellion by starting up these machines against orders. So instead of striking and not working, you're doing more work to get to fulfill your mission, and ultimately you hope it causes a greater good.
Annette, I live in San Francisco. I'm here because I believe that we need a postal service that's independent, and it's critical for democracy, basically. That's why I'm here.
Are you worried about democracy in the United States?
I am. Yeah, it seems like there's plenty of attacks going on from all corners, but the postal office is a cornerstone of this country as it was founded. I'm an immigrant myself, but I understand that, and I understand that a functioning independent post office is critical for a democracy to work.
Okay, thank you.
Hands up, my vote is mine, DeJoy Resign. Hands up, my vote is mine, DeJoy Resign.